Hi guys, this is Fernando doing another video for Modern Survivalists. In this case, a quick video showing you the dental first aid kit. A little first aid kit for your dental emergencies that may come in very handy during some situations. And you may want to add this to your basic first aid kit, especially if it's leaning towards disaster preparedness and survival. During normal circumstances, you would have your dentist available, and anything that goes wrong, you give him a phone call, arrange a meeting, and that's it. Now, imagine if there's problems on a broader spectrum of things and your dentist is not available because there's social unrest, maybe because you're traveling and you don't have him nearby. In that case, this may be extremely handy. The possible situations, like if you get your tooth knocked out during a fight, during an accident, or something very common like your fillings getting loose and falling on you, which happens with certain frequency, or your crown getting loose and falling. What do you do then if you don't have your dentist available? And this is the kind of mind games that you have to play when you think of disaster preparedness. Thinking of, what if I need this and it's not available? What if I need a dentist and he's not nearby? Well, these very basic, and you see how compact and small this is, but it does cover an interesting variety of problems. Let's suppose you get your teeth knocked out for whatever reason, either completely or just broken and just a piece of it. And there's a good possibility, if it got completely knocked out, there's a good possibility that the dentist may be able to replace that and fix that for you. Now, the chances of that happening are much better if you preserve your tooth properly. And for that, you would use this little bottle or box over here. Yeah, I don't know, this little container here. What you're supposed to do is, let's suppose you have your complete tooth. Don't clean it, don't remove any gum or nerve or meaty parts or anything. Just put it as it is in this little container with your own saliva or milk. Milk, for some reason, seems to be recommended by many dentists for any accidents involving your tooth getting out of your mouth. For one reason or another, just put it in there, milk, saliva, cover it completely, and take it to the dentist as soon as possible. Let's suppose that something like a crown or a filling getting loose and falling off. In that case, you would use this little container here. Has something called Tympramine, and you use this to make the mixture. And first you clean it up with water, and you use some of this Eugenol here. There's the name. You use some of this and making a little bit of a little ball with your fingers and shoving it there in the cavity. That's also a possibility, so as to get by until you find a dentist. There's complete explanations of in more detail how to do all that here. But basically that's the idea. It's a neat little kit. It just costs a few bucks. It's no big deal. You find it in most supermarkets, I suppose. And it's interesting because we didn't have any of this in Argentina. And whenever I see something like that, something like that I look at it and say, wow, that's so cool, that's so interesting. Never saw this before in my life. I knew it was out there and such, but back in Argentina, I would have to buy it online and such. And when I see this sort of things in the supermarket, I kind of wonder, if everyone is as excited as I am by finding these sort of things. I suppose not. I suppose that guys growing up with all this available aren't as surprised or find it as interested as I do. But let me tell you, in many cases, something like this would be very handy. And it's one of those things that I haven't seen talked about or recommended much in the survival and preparedness community. I'm sure it is, but I haven't seen much discussion on it. One final thing, you should also add a couple of books to your bookshelf, which is the first one is Where There's No Doctor and When There's No Dentist. Those two are pretty much basic must-haves in your library, because they cover that scenario that I'm talking about, when you don't have a dentist or a doctor nearby, and you have, it's never recommended to do this sort of thing without proper training and instruction, But if you don't have an option, that's basically what you have to get by as best as you can. So a bit of knowledge and a little bit of the right tools will give you an upper hand in those cases. Folks, that's basically the idea here. Just a very quick video showing you the little dental first aid kit. I'm sure there's others, maybe more complete and such. Just keep it in mind and think a little bit about it just in case. Have a great weekend, guys, and see you on our next video.